And we are live. We're back, Bish, for the. I'm quite emotional actually for the final betting week of the regular season. It's been a it's been a tough year for me, but I've had a good few weeks. Bish, you've turned a bad year into actually a pretty good one at the moment. You've had a great run. How was your Christmas? How's everything, Bish, and how are you feeling going into this week?
Yeah, it's been good. Christmas has been good. Warm Christmas, which were nice, a nice change, and then back home for New Year's with the family. So yeah, it's been good. All along watching the NFL along the way as well. So bit disappointing last week. Only 1 out of 3 last week, so down half a unit. We hit the Rams and Kyron Williams on the overs on his carries. So yeah, I'm sat at just over 4 units profit and 7% ROI, which, like you just said there, from a bad start to the year, we've turned it around, and a bit of a tricky minefield week this week with some teams not have anything to play for, some starters being rested, but we're going for it. I've got some decent odds up, so we're swinging for the fences here.
You've got to, haven't you, Vish? It's the final week of the regular season. I'm with you. I've got one safe-ish bet, but you know me anyway. I don't really go safe. Interesting week. A lot of teams that are resting the quarterback, so a lot of dead games essentially. But then also some games where everything is on the line, and hopefully we've got some bets to make all them really interesting and make it a really good week. 18 going into the playoffs. But Bish, do you want to start us off with your first bet?
Yeah, my first one this week, it's Khalil Herbert over 56.5 rushing yards and a touchdown thrown in as well for himself. We're starting with a big one here, 3.8 on the decimal. So yeah, big odds. And I looked at this, and the first thing I thought was Justin Fields. We banked on him a couple of weeks ago, but then I looked into it, and Khalil Herbert is, he's the last 2 weeks he's been on fire. He's got that lead back role. Deontay Foreman last week was a healthy scratch. He was dropped. It seems like they're going with a youth in Khalil Herbert and seeing what they've got for the future. In his last 2 games, 20 carries, 18 carries, 112 and 124 yards with a touchdown in both games as well. So he's definitely been killing it on the ground. We know the Bears are very good running the ball, ranked second in the league at running the ball. Coming up against the Packers, who were ranked 28th against the run. So they can be got at. This is a divisional game, so I'm expecting it to be tight. And the Packers have got it all to play for, obviously, that with the win and they're in, but a young team, they've seemed to be stuttering the last few weeks. And I just think, the Bears could cause a bit of an upset here in a possible tight game that I think will be won on the ground. So if Khalil Herbert, I think he can get this done if he gets at least 15 carries. I think we've got a great chance of bringing this home. So Khalil Herbert over 56.5 rushing yards and a touchdown.
I'll just dive straight in, Bish. The only thing I don't like about that, I think Green Bay are winning, but obviously I'm a Green Bay fan till I die in university over in Wisconsin. But yeah, I'm with you. Khalil Herbert's been awesome. I picked him up in my fantasy team, obviously on the trade that I got. Matty Crimes slaughtered me more than anything in league history about, and he didn't show up, but. I wish I made it to the finals because he might have been a league winner for me because he was sat there on my bench. I didn't obviously really care once I got knocked out. So, but yeah, played really well. I think I thought he always had talent. I'm surprised they didn't use him more early on. He had his injury. Maybe he took a bit more time to get involved. I don't know what they were trying, but whenever I've seen him play, he's always looked brilliant and obviously showed it in the last couple of weeks. Green Bay's rush defense, I've not said it. Everyone's said it for years. It's atrocious. They really need to do something about it. They can't seem to figure it out year on year. Nothing's changed. You've got the quarterback Justin Fields. That's going to garner all the attention on defense, and I think that's just going to open it up even more for Khalil Herbert. So I don't think they'll win, Bish. I'll disagree with you there, but I think you're pretty safe on the rushing yards here. I think it's going to be a Khalil Herbert, Justin Fields running show. And I think that's going to be the Chicago Bears offense in this one.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the only worry is Fields and eating into us a little bit there. So, but I think hopefully if it is a close game, which it could well be, hopefully we get enough carries and yards there.
Yeah, I think you will. I don't think you'll struggle with the efficiency. He's electric. They struggle with fast running backs, and yeah, as long as there's not something crazy happening, I think that's good. I think them two will. Khalil and, like I said, Fields will get most of the offense going over there. I'm going to dive straight into mine, Bish, just to counter yours. Actually, I've got a double for you. I'm calling
Nice.
it the playoff double. I picked two teams that I've got it all to play for that I think will make the playoffs in the games. I'll put it on here. We've got the Green Bay Packers and the Indianapolis Colts. I'm doing both money line. Colts aren't the favourites. Packers are the favourites to win the game. Colts are the underdogs. I think both are winning. The Colts are against the Texans. Texans young QB with CJ Stroud. I just think it's a lot to ask for. The Colts have got Gardner Minshew. I like Gardner. He's electric to watch. He's not been there and done that as such in a big playoff run, but he's had more than a season in him. I think the running game of the Colts they'll play nice, safe. The Texans have been not all over the place, but so up and down. Obviously, Stroud's missed a load of games. I don't think this is the Texans' year to make the playoffs. I think everything that's happened this year, I'm so happy for them. They deserve a good year. But I think the Colts have just got enough in the rush game here to take over the Texans. I don't think the Texans' defense has impressed me enough. Stroud certainly has, but he's missed a lot of weeks. And I think the Colts are just going to take this home, grind out a tough victory here. And then just going on to the Packers, Jordan Love, actually, this might work against him, might work for him. He's got $4 million to earn in incentives on this one game. I thought that was really interesting. He's got to hit certain markers. He's got to be in the top 11 of pass efficiency. All of them are achievable. He'd have to have an unbelievable game. But I've seen enough of him, Bish. And I said early on last year, I think when you and Tag did one of the first live streams, I like him as a quarterback. He's shown me this year's stats I've mentioned before, very similar to Rodgers' stats all year long. In Rodgers' first year, just an easy comparison to make. And I like Jaden Reed, the wide receiver. Obviously, they've got Watson, they've got Dubs, they've got a wide array of options here. The Bears have got much better on defense. I just think the Packers throw something at each team that's quite hard to stop unless you've got a very deep cornerback and safety position wise on your team. They've just got so many options. No, not many superstars yet, but a lot of options. I think they're going to overwhelm the Bears. Aaron Jones, I think he's got to have another big game. AJ Dillon's disappointed. The rushing game's disappointed. That's what the Bears have been good at anyway. So I think Jordan Love's going to be given every incentive to go win the game for the Packers. And I don't doubt that the Bears will run the ball better than any team, obviously, against the Packers. But I think it's going to be a big ask. I think Jordan Love's going to bring the Packers to the playoffs and almighty to the Green Bay.
And I like what they've been doing. Like you said, I gave them sort of maybe too much. I thought they'd be, right sat up there with the Detroit Lions at the top of the division at the beginning of the season. But they've certainly, after a slow start, really picked up. And I was just trying to find some stats there on Jordan Love. I'm in a group, and my mate Ash, he's sending them in all about Jordan Love. He's been unreal probably since about week 11 onwards, the last 7 weeks of the season. So, yeah, I can't... I sort of said in my piece that I could see the Bears, having a sneaky result here. I think it is in Green Bay's hands here. If they perform, they will get the job done. The one where I do disagree with is I'm fancying the Texans in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Simply because CJ Stroud in this passing game. I think they are two very evenly matched teams, and like you said, the Colts will run the ball and rely on defense. But I think the final 2 minutes of the game, if I'm needing a quarterback to win me the game, I want the ball in CJ Stroud's hands, and I think that's what it could come down to. It could come down to the last team with the ball to try and either get that touchdown or get in field goal range quickly. And I'm just going to lean the Texans on that one. So I hope I'm wrong for the bet, obviously, for the best bets. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting one, and it is neck and neck. The bookies can't split them. So yeah, it's I think the Colts are at home, so with being -1, generally you get a 3-point advantage being at home. So maybe that's it is neck and neck. So we'll see. We'll see. It'll be a great game to watch, I think, just with what's on the line.
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, both have been widely inconsistent. Like I said, Stroud's been unbelievable. I like Minshew. I like the running game. You need them running backs to show up for Indianapolis. If they do, that offensive line's always been good for the Colts. It's got better throughout the year. I want the Colts to win this. I think they've got 1 or 2 years left at it, Bish. The Texans have got another 10. I think let the Colts have a go. Texans, well done to you on a great year, but I think you're playoff bound next year.
Fair play.
Take us through your next one, Bish.
Bet number 2, it's the Vikings at Lions over 42.5 total points, and Nick Mullins over 266.5 passing yards here. And I've really had fun watching the Vikings the last few weeks. Nick Mullins, what can I say? He is pure fireworks. We talk about he's in that Jameis Winston mold. He's gonna sling it. Whether the guy's open, whether he's in triple coverage, he's gonna sling it. Luckily for him, he's got Justin Jefferson who can outbeat triple coverage, but he's unreal. He's throwing it. He's in his 2 starts he's had recently. He's thrown 6 interceptions, so he's either coming up with big plays or he's coming up with interceptions, which works both ways for us because it keeps the scoreboard ticking over. Big passes equal big yards and quick points really. So I think that helps the overs line. In his 2 starts, he threw for 303 yards against the Bengals, and then I think it was 2 weeks ago against the Lions, he threw for 411 yards. He did throw 4 interceptions in that game, which added to the game script of them being behind, and he had to keep throwing it. So I think that falls nicely into this bet here. As I just said there, it's a high-scoring game. The last time the 2 teams met 2 weeks ago, it was 30-24 to the Lions. Both teams are top 6 in passing yards. So, again, they throw the ball, they make big plays. This line has hit overs in both Nick Mullins' starts, and it's hit overs in 3 of the last 5 Lions games. So, in a game where the Lions, they need to win to try and pip the Dallas Cowboys to the 2nd spot, and the Vikings have a sneaky backdoor chance of scraping that 7th spot. So there's plenty to play for here. I'm expecting to see plenty of highlights on Red Zone of either Mullins interceptions or Mullins deep balls to Justin Jefferson. So either way, I think we're in for a lot of points here. So over 42.5 total points, and Nick Mullins over 266.5 passing yards.
Like I said, Justin Jefferson can actually, with how many games he's missed this year, can actually hit 1,000 receiving yards on the year, which is absurd for how many games he's missed, to be honest with you, Bish. And I saw that stat last week, and I couldn't quite believe it. And like you said, I think a lot of that, to be fair to Nick Mullins, is down to Nick Mullins and his reckless quarterback play. But when you've got Jay Jettis out there doing what he does, making some crazy catch, I think every week in the last couple of weeks has been back. There's been at least 2 or 3 catches that have made the Twitter highlights that he's done. I think they suit each other quite well. Might not result in loads of wins, but it results in some exciting football, as you said. And the Lions, which there's not many more other than Miami. There's not many more explosive teams than the Lions. Like I said, Miami's the only one that really pops up in the same manner. The running game's all explosion with Jahmyr Gibbs. the passing game. Amon-Ra has hit 100 yards. He's been the fantasy playoff king. He's been on fire. I think it's going to be gung-ho. Both defenses have not been as good as the Vikings have always fairly struggled. The Lions started well, have dipped off. I think everything's ticking towards a firebomb of a game, and like you said, Lions trying to get that number 2 seed and Vikings trying to pip in. So it's gonna be some fun. It's gonna be fireworks, and I'd recommend anyone to watch this game. Might not have the highest top quality in overall game management and game performance, but it'll be some fun to watch.
Yeah, I've actually come a little bit lower on the overall points. The overall points is sat at 45.5, which I'm still confident in, but I just dipped it a little bit to 42.5 just to cover me a little bit there. So, but yeah, I am expecting points in this one.
Brilliant. Yeah. I'll take you through my second one, Bish. You won't be as excited. It's on the opposite end of fireworks, opposite end of the spectrum. But I'm gonna try prove the perception wrong. So I've got the New York Jets versus the New England Patriots, and I've got the Pats to win this one. And I think the game's going to be over 30.5 points, which I think is a shock because both have had good defenses this year. Both have mightily struggled on offense, but in the last couple of games, both teams have scored 37, 28 points, and then the Jets have scored 21, 26. The Pats have been playing pretty well the last 2 weeks. The past 2 weeks, that certainly points wise, earlier on in the season they were struggling to get any. I think they've opened it up. I don't think the Jets have got anything to play for. I don't think any of that defense has clocked off mightily the past couple of weeks. I think it's the Pats to win. It's only -1.5. I don't think the Jets are here to surprise anyone. They're all looking for Aaron Rodgers next year. The Patriots want to win. They're a team full of pride. Not that the Jets aren't, but it's the Patriots way. They don't want to go out with another bad loss. They've had a bad year. I think them veterans, because they've got a lot of them on that team, are going to want to win this one. I reckon there will be a few points. Neither team defense are that motivated, and I think for defense, Bish, I think last year, the last couple of years, I do like the motivation angle. I think the more motivated defenses are, the better they play. That's the most obvious statement in the world, but I think it's more intense on NFL watching it. You can tell that Denver did it last year, had one of the top 5 defenses in the league. Playoffs become a non-factor. They just fell off a cliff. Jets have done it this year. Patriots have exploded on offense. Defenses have ticked off. But I think the Pats are going to win this one. So I think what most people, including the bookies, will think is an horrendous, boring game at under 30.5 points. I'm going against it. I think it will be the most surprising game of the weekend. Both teams are going to have some fun. It's been a disappointing year. They're going to make some plays, throw some balls around, and score some points like they have the last couple of weeks. Take me the Pats, and take me a surprise, the most surprising game of the weekend. New York Jets Pats over 30.5 points.
I like it. I like the optimism. I can't argue with the Pats. I agree with everything you're saying, especially at home as well. You know, potentially the last game in the Bill Belichick era at the Patriots. I can't see him losing that, if I'm honest. Again, it probably works against them because, you know, a win here might take them out of the sort of top 3 or 4 picks, which makes them further away from a quarterback that they need. So it might go against what the organisation needs, but I think it's that Bill Belichick, like you said. Very tough game, very tough opponent to play in a divisional game at home. I can't see him losing. The points, I remember last year, you know, we did a watch-a-thon, sat, you know, watching both of us and your dad, and we watched this Patriots game, and I think I had unders on it, and the only points was I think a kick return late in the fourth quarter. So I'm praying there's more points than that in this one. But to be fair, it has been. Although Garrett Wilson, there was a lot of hype and a lot expected, and when Rodgers went down, he has hit 1,000 yards this year, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So I think if they are to score points, it's going to have to come from him. I can see the Patriots locking up Breece Hall on the ground here, so it'll have to come from the arm of Wilson, most likely to obviously Garrett Wilson. So
I've got bad news on that argument. That probably invalidates my argument a little bit. Zach Wilson is not playing. He's in concussion protocol for this game. Yeah,
he is. Yeah.
So that makes my point probably worse. It probably backs up
Yeah.
your unders more. But I just think they know have some fun. I know it's not the way.
Yeah.
I know Belichick, and I know it's not a statistical point. This one, it's the last game of the year. The defense, neither defense have been playing that well the last 2 weeks. I just think Belichick, as you said, leaving on the high. Jets all looking for next year. They're ready. They're in Costa Rica already partying. The plane's on. They're thinking, "Wow, tough year. Let's get through the off season. Let's get everyone healthy. Let's go." I think the Patriots can get 27 points on Sunday. I was going to say tomorrow. I think Patriots can get 24, 27 points. Let Jets have a few field goals and let's get over that 30 points. I think that's super low. The Pats can do this one. And I think they can bring it home simultaneously. I think they can bring it home by themselves, along with a few field goals from the Jets, just to keep it competitive.
Yeah, I like it. I'll throw in a defensive touchdown for him as well.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, help my argument. Thank you. Bish, third bet.
Number 3, it's the Dallas Cowboys over 27.5 team points, along with Dak Prescott under 0.5 interceptions. And I like this line a lot for dominant teams in games, and it equates to around 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns and a few field goals. But as we've spoke about, the Dallas Cowboys, they need to win this game to cement the NFC East title and also the second seed in the NFC. So, they will be going all out for this one. They are big scorers. The third in points, ranked third in points on the year, but a lot of that has been based on the home form. Their actual away form, they've only had 2 games that have hit over this line. Week 1 against the Giants that they bageled 40-0. And week 11 against the Panthers that they won 33-10. So, away, they're a slightly different team to playing at home. Week 12 meeting between these two teams, obviously at Dallas, it was a landslide, 45-10. Washington, the 4-12, they are in the hunt for a new quarterback, and I believe a loss here puts them in that position to trade up for Caleb Williams, which I think they will do. So like I said, it's in their incentive to lose here. They've been in and out with Sam Howell. He was dropped last week, and then Jacoby Brissett got injured, and Howell actually started again. So the backwards and forwards, no confidence at all. The last 7 games for the Commanders have all been losses, and 6 of them, the team has scored more than this line, 27.5 points. So, and the one team that didn't, they scored 27, so half a point off. So, yeah, I can only see this being a landslide, if I'm honest. I've thrown the Dak angle in there as well. He's looked good this year. He's thrown 8 interceptions on the year, 3 of them coming in one game against the 49ers. He got a lot of hassle last year through 15 interceptions. Got bagged quite a bit for it. So he's brought that down a lot this year. But again, it's helped because he's in a team that's been dominating a lot. Washington are 31st against the pass, and they're actually 30th in interceptions. So they're not a team that creates anything against the pass really or takes the ball away. I think why this line has got so much juice to it is because he's thrown 2 interceptions in his last 3 games, one against the Lions, one against the Bills. But I just see in this game, I just don't see a reason why he'd need to force a pass, if I'm honest. We can get unlucky and can get a deflection and, a tipped pass or whatever. But, on the face of it, I just think they'll be far too good for the Commanders in this game. So, the Cowboys over 27.5 team points and Dak Prescott under 0.5 interceptions.
Yeah, love it. I think only argument I could see, but I don't think it makes that big of a difference, is I think this is going to be a Tony Pollard game. I think they're going to play it safe. I don't think they're going to risk too many drop backs for Dak if they take the lead early. If they get the 7-14 points ahead, I think they're going to let Tony Pollard get the momentum going. Like I said, he's had a tough year. Can't seem to find the end zone. He has okay games actually if you watch him, but his end zone production's rubbish. He had a couple of highlights in the last couple of weeks that he gets stops on the 1 yard line, does some questionable things. I don't know what is going right. I think they're going to get Pollard hopefully a couple of touchdowns. It's the worst defense in the league, as I've said before. They let them both. They let the Montez Sweat, Chase Young go, the defensive ends, and it's just collapsed even further. I still can't work out why they did because they didn't get loads in compensation back. I think they're going to use Pollard a lot. Hopefully, he'll get a couple of touchdowns. They go ahead 7-14. Pollard gets a couple from there, and they notch over that 27.5. They can't guard the run. They can't guard the pass. I'm always worried with interception lines, Bish. But I think, like you said, there's nothing that says this Commanders. There's nothing that says he needs to take a risk. It's going to be CD Lamb if he does, and it's going to be the tight ends, nice and safe. Let's get the job done, lads. Let's be nice and professional about this. There's not going to be Dak throwing risks. If he does, he's more of a fool than all of us in it because it's it just doesn't make sense for him to take them risks on this one. Get the job done. Be nice and professional, Dak, and let's see Tony Pollard get a few touchdowns because I think, to be fair, he probably deserves it.
Yeah, that I agree with you. I'd like to see him come out hot, blitz him, and after 3 quarters, then you see the starters get benched, but hopefully by then it's home and hosed. So fingers crossed.
I like it, yeah. Nice bet, Bish. I think solid one there. Makes complete sense and some decent odds to go with it. I'll take you through the last one, Bish. You're not going to. I'll be shocked if you agree with me on this one. It's my Bet 365 Bet Boost. It's my anti-playoff game. It's the team who I think will not make the playoffs. It's the team that all stats have suggested they've overperformed. Their ranking has overperformed their performance. So how they've actually played to what their record is. I'm just loading it up there. I've got the Arizona Cardinals. I've got James Conner to get over 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. My Bet 365 Bet Boost treble. This is against the team who aren't going to get into the playoffs, the Seattle Seahawks. I said all stats indicate Seahawks have massively overperformed this year. They've had some shock. The defense, they can't guard the run. They can't guard the run for a good playoff team. They've statistically got one of the worst in the league. Their offense, Geno Smith definitely took a step back. Tyler Lockett took a step back in his 31 now. He might have one big performance left in him. I've just got a feeling that the Cardinals are going to win this one. They've been playing well. They do enough. Kyler Murray's been awesome. James Conner has been awesome. I think they're going to want to end the season on a high. James Conner's a brilliant running back. He's had a brilliant few games, 100+ rushing yards. I don't think it's a big ask for him. I think they're going to run the Seahawks into the ground with Kyler, with James Conner. There's not many others than James Conner getting the touchdowns for Arizona anyway. I'm pretty confident in his line there. I know 100 rushing yards is quite a lot, Bish, but I've got all confidence he will. Obviously, the risk is that the Cardinals will win the game in general. I can't see it with the Seahawks. I think Pete Carroll is in his final couple of years. He needs to make a couple of amendments to the team. Their free agency picks over. I actually watched a video. There's quite a good one online actually. If you want to search it up, by NFL Rollins, he goes over the Seattle Seahawks and how their defense and how their free agency pickups in defense have just been utter failures. Obviously, by that getting Jamal Adams the way they did is just he's not even played. He was a healthy scratch. Big shocks on that. Big shocks in the picks on defense. It's not their year. Cardinals, I like what they do. The rushing game, Kyler extends all the plays, opens it up for Conner. I think there's not a big shot coming, but I think there's a good enough shot come in and a Bet365 bet boost to end the year on a great treble. Come on, Bish.
That'll definitely get us a sponsorship. No, I'm having a look now. I can't argue with you in terms of James Conner. You know, last week against the Eagles, one of the better rush Ds in the league, 128 yards and a touchdown. He gets it done on the ground, like you say. Seahawks ranked 30th against the run. Cardinals are top 6. So, yeah. I suppose the one is the Cardinals winning. And I think the Seahawks are -3 around that mark. So that's the big one. The Cardinals getting the win, but a divisional game, you know, they know each other very well, and it's one of those where Seattle could potentially implode. Like you said, there are a lot of rumors of Pete Carroll, you know, coming to an end, needs to be replaced, things need refreshing. So, and if this happens, I think that will accelerate quite quickly. So, yeah, I'm all over Connor. It's just that Cardinals win. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So with them bet boosts, they do raise the odds. They always chuck one in that's unlikely, and I think surprisingly, it's just a team winning. Like, normally, it's not. Normally, it's they chuck some random stat in. I think the Connor stats are hitting. Whether they can win, there's always one risky part of it. The Cardinals winning is risky, but they've not got as much. I think that, like I said, I think an implosion's coming. DK Metcalf. You would playing him all day long, get him wound up. Lockett's sadly not been the same receiver. I forgot Jackson Smith and Jigba. I am a bit worried about. He's quietly been one of my favourite wide receivers, rookie wide receivers. Sorry, in the league. He's done a good, solid job. He's been a role player, but perform when he needed to. He's the one player I'm secretly worried about in this one. Otherwise, the running game's not been. Kenneth Walker's not exceeded expectations. I think a lot to do with the offensive line. Zach Charbonnet's not done loads either. So, yeah, I think a shock's coming. I think Seattle aren't making the playoffs. Changes are coming. Cardinals are ending the season on a high.
I like it.
Come on, Bish. Like, that is a Bet365. Sorry, I'm excited, and I think the last one, Bish, take us through tags, touchdown, treble, the last of the year. Come on, I keep saying last of the year. Sorry, last of the regular season. Come on, Tag.
Yeah, week 18. You know, we've been waiting for one of these. As we've said, he's a 17-1, a 23-1 last year. So we're still in good profit, but he's wanting to hit one to end the season, the regular season on a high. So this week we've got Jalen Hurts of the Eagles, Terry McLaurin of the Commanders, and Bijan Robinson of the Falcons. And that treble comes in at around 13.25 to 1. It can be obviously at various places, so that's where we found it. And the 1 week in a while last week with Jalen Hurts didn't get a touchdown, so I'd like to see him bounce back this week. Terry McLaurin got one last week against the 49ers, so can he do it again against the Cowboys? And Bijan, we've spoke about Arthur Smith a lot, haven't we? So hopefully he has a day off and he gives his young studs the ball.
Well, they've still got a chance of making the playoffs, and I think that's got to be put on in Bijan's hands, hasn't it? He's been up and down all year through half his play calling. I think he's got to be given the opportunity, Bijan, to take them into the playoffs, or at least give them a chance. It's not 100%, but things go their way if they get the win. I think he's got to put it in his hands and say, Bijan, give us the best chance to make it to the playoffs. The other two best offensive players on each team. So that's always a good bet. Bijan hasn't been this year through the play calling, but I think it's time. But Arthur Smith always finds a way to annoy us on this show, doesn't he? Bish, week 18, final regular season game week of the year. It's been a great 18 weeks, Bish. I apologise, I've not landed more bets. I've had some big ones, Bish. You've done awesome this year. You've slowly clicked up. It's been awesome to see, but they're my final thoughts, Bish. It's been a pleasure. Give us yours.
It has been, like you said, it's been a long year, and we're here, but we're at the business end. We've picked up. We're both at form, so we're coming good, and the playoffs are just around the corner. But one thing I do want to end on is the massive game this week to finish the regular season: the Dolphins and the Bills. I couldn't split them, to be honest. That's why I didn't pick a bet. But I just want to let's have a prediction.
Dolphins v the Bills. It's the team who I think might make the might secretly make the Super Bowl. It's the Buffalo Bills winning this one. They're getting right at the right time. It's really sad news actually, but I think I'm going to mention it. Tyreek Hill's house has been on fire. I think was it this morning?
I think it was. Yeah, I saw reports this morning. Yeah.
Been on this morning. There's I think is Tua's being rested as well, Bish, I believe.
I've not seen.
You might have to check that.
They do have a lot of starters. Well, they've got a few on IR, to be fair, defensively as well. So that could quite possibly. I'm not sure because it is a massive game. So unless he's concussion, I don't think he will be. But I'll double check now.
I might have just made that. I might have just made that one up in my mid-thought process.
No, good to go.
Good to go. I've made that one up, Bish. I apologise. No, if Tua's playing, definitely it's going to be a close one. But I think the Bills and the wedgie. I think all the things are going towards Josh Allen and the Bills getting it right, heading into the playoffs on a high, and maybe ending up with that 2 seed and taking it from Miami.
I like it.
Let's see yours.
Well, it pains me to say it, and I might get some ribbing from. Obviously, I'm a Dolphin lover this year, but if they can't run the ball this week against the Bills, I think the Bills take it. So yeah, I'm leaning the Bills.
Well, that's it. It's been a great year. Please like, subscribe, share us all everywhere. Chuck us comments on the YouTube, on our Instagram, on our TikTok, on our everything. Give us comments, give us love, give us your thoughts. It's week 18. Let's hear your bets. Let's hear your thoughts on anything to do with the playoffs, anything to do with this week. Hopefully you followed us along. Hopefully we've made you some money. Hopefully you've had some laughs at my expense. Hopefully you've loved Bish breakdown and analysis on everything to do with football. It's been a great regular season. I've enjoyed every minute. Let's end it on a high, Bish.
That's it. Death by numbers. That's what I do to you.
And I love every second. See you soon, Bish.
See you later.